and usually have a speaker. We have the networking at the beginning, as you just witnessed. When Vinny's done, then we'll also continue with some networking. We'll talk a little bit about what Vinny was introducing us and teaching us, and have a little chance to kind of input anybody's input on that. Uh-oh, what I do? I want to do that. Sorry, I was trying to. But what I wanted to do here is take a picture of the group. So anybody, if you don't have your camera on, if you would turn it on for a second, or you don't have to, but I'm going to tell you when, and at least smile and put a hand up or something on the screen so I can take a picture of it. Okay. All right, here we go. I'll tell you, counting on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I got to do it again. All right. One more time. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we go. That's a good
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
All right, here we go. So tonight, my pleasure to introduce somebody who is amazing. This guy, Vinney, Mr. Vinney Chopra Smiles, who I have seen several times up on stage at RE Mentor in front of 800, 1,000 people. I've seen him multiple times speaking, and as we're going through our BAMM event and been doing that, all of a sudden I realize he lives in the same town I do. He's like lives down the road, and I think that was Colin actually that I'm not sure who put me together with Vinny. But then we had a phone call, and of course Vinny was doing his walk in the neighborhood as David was explaining earlier on how you do. And I think we had several calls, and each time you're walking out there in Blackhawk. It's beautiful. I love it. And but Vinny is an amazing individual. You'll see this if you haven't heard him before. His energy is absolutely infectious. He is has an amazing story coming from his country with $7 in his pocket. I know he's going to explain that. He's an author of 3 best-selling books. He's a motivational speaker. He's a mentor. He's a coach, and not to really brag, but over $1 billion in assets under management. That's a big number. Not the M, but the B word. That's pretty cool. So Vinny is a friend and somebody I look up to. I want to introduce you and take it away.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's really a pleasure. Really a pleasure. Again, it's how the destiny is. I always say that. When I came from India, we were living in 1 bedroom, 382 square feet, 6 siblings, and mom and dad. So 8 people, 1 bathroom, right? You start dreaming, is this life just like that, or is there anything better? And I always wanted to be an engineer, became engineer, and worked for Larsen Toubler, Reliance Group over there. Then came here for MBA in marketing at George Washington, sold Bible books and encyclopedias door to door, and put my engineering into a box, became a salesperson, sales consultant, got married about 44 years back in Ohio. And my company moved me over here to the Bay Area. And we said, oh, okay, all right, let's see. So we had no money. I had zero money, negative bank balance, actually, when we moved to Bay Area. And God has given a lot. We have 2 children, Neil and Monica. Neil went to Berkeley, and he's retired at 38. And then Monica went to UCLA, and then she's with our company, and she's taking the baton to the next level, and so on. So I've done many syndications. I've raised about $220 million from investors right here in Silicon Valley, in California, and all over other places. 782 investors we have. And then we have sold most of the portfolio. We went to 1.3 billion. And with my limited partnerships, almost 1.6 billion with a B. And now we have sold everything almost at the peak. And also in syndication, see, you sell the properties in 3 to 5 years. So I like that. Then you give the money back to the investors with the returns and everything, and you keep your 30%. That brings in millions of dollars to you for all the hard work. So that's what has been my story, syndication. raising money from family, friends, neighbors, everybody, and then giving them 70% of the deal. So when I go to work every day for the last 17 years, 70% of my efforts I'm paying my investors, and 30% I'm keeping. So not too bad, Anyway, so what has happened in the last 4 or 5 years? I'll be 72 in just 2 weeks, 72, 72. And the key thing is that I see that the whole world, seniors, I mean, the baby boomers are turning 65, 11,200 people every night are turning 65 in USA alone. 11,200. It used to be 10,000, it's higher. 2030, every baby boomer will be a senior. 4,000 people are turning 85 in this country right now. 4,000 every night. So it just got me so excited from hotels that I bought, from multifamily I bought. I've invested in, the storage units. I've invested in RV parks with Dylan Marma. He's a great friend of mine. He's my student and everything. Robert Pereira, who is doing now almost $400 million business in just 3 or 4 years. One of my students. Lots of my students have gained so much knowledge and they're doing so well. But I changed my course to senior living. So I started building. Actually, I met brother David. David drew all the way, met me in Williamsburg, Virginia. I remember David, and we had so much fun. And that property got delayed, challenges after challenges, and now we are opening it up. But the key thing is, I was building 94 units ground up. I built one for 12 million, sold it for 17 million in Punta Gorda. Built in Cape Coral, Florida, sold it. We are building this one. Williamsburg will sell it too. Make 5 million a profit, a pop. But the key thing right now I want to talk about is low-hanging fruit, which is residential assisted living. Here, a guy who promoted multifamily all his life, all 17, 18 years, and hotels and other things, I've gone back to residential assisted living because there is such a great demand for it. We are short 1.3 million beds today for assisted living, 1.3 million beds. And the exciting part is that residential assisted living, it's one single home which might bring 3,000 rent for you. And if there are 8 bedrooms or 10 bedrooms, like in Arizona, I'm buying Scottsdale, where I'm building, my whole portfolio there now. Each bedroom brings in $5,000, guys. Each bedroom. So 10 bedroom at 5,000 every month, that's 50,000 times 12, that's $600,000 revenue in the assisted living for residential assisted living. You might say, Vinny, oh, there are more expenses. You are right. Yes, there is an executive director. There are 2 caregivers during the day and 1 during the night. But the caregivers cook also in the regular kitchen and everything. And then our expenses are close to 80%, but 20% you can take home from the RAL. So if you guys are ready, love to share my screen. Can I share the screen? Please, let's do that. And I put together a little PowerPoint presentation. You might really enjoy that. This is this one right there. I'll just see the slideshow. Let's see if it goes. There we go. Are you with me? Can you see me? Yeah. So it's a small introduction, residential assisted living, RAL. Usually the market calls it ARALs, and they are growing sector in the senior care. It provides multiple benefits for seniors. And what I found was when I was over there in Florida, I had 48 people on my payroll for 194 units, 48 people. It was a conglomerate, so many expenses and everything, right? But then my ratio to the seniors was 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. But in residential assisted living, it's 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. So it's a much better care. Let me kind of share just a small thing here. 77 million baby boomers aging, assisted living, 3 million bed shortage just by this right there. And I mean, we could go, we have limited time, but the key thing is this is one place where there is so much need and people will need us there in that spectrum. So what is residential assisted living? It's a home. It's a home. It's a home-like setting, single family home with 7 bedrooms, 10 bedrooms, or 4, 6 bedrooms, depending on that. Or you could take one, decapitate it, and then rework it, renovate it to make assisted living home with the ADA compliance and everything like that, right? Then key factors are offer various services, including meals, housekeeping, healthcare, encourage social activities. It's really lovely. It's just like home-like atmosphere for our respected seniors to, have their golden years, we call it. Because usually residential assisted living only has like 80, 84, 85 years of, right there. Let me go ahead and show you. This is another graph where this is over here. We are right about here. This is 2030 right there. So we are about 24. That's 20. So that's a 10-year gap over here. So we are right here. See, 85 plus is going to be 20 million people. It's such a huge demand. It's mind-boggling. I mean, if you get to learn this and get set up, there is no ending to it, no ending to this thing. And that's what I chose 5 years back. I did not want to be in this one here, age restricted apartments or independent living, because senior living has 5 segments: age restricted, independent, state licensing, assisted living, and state licensing, memory care, dementia, all that right there. And then skilled nursing, which is hospitals, rehab centers, doctors. I don't want to do anything with that at all. Maybe some of you might do that, but I chose these two right there in the middle when I'm making multifamily and everything. But with all the permit problems and loan problems and delays and cost of goods going 32% high, I've I've seen so much water under the bridge in the last 5 years. So that's where I am, just trying to talk to you and kind of talk about it. It's got great market demand, stable income, tax benefits, community impact. All these things are there. Aging population, we just talked about it. Advantages, personal care, community engagement, and safety and security is there. So the key thing, would love to answer questions. I just wanted to kind of whet the appetite a little bit, but then you can ask me questions on anything you like, because I've gone through the whole spectrum. You can almost look for like 10 to 15,000 per month cash flow from a single home. Look at that. One single family home is able to give you 10,000. That's 120,000 cash flow in your pocket after providing this service and everything. Occupancy is very, very high, 85 to 95%. And then it's the net profit margin, anywhere from 15 to 20%, serving noble cause. I love that, love that. This way you're able to give enhanced life and give really good food and take care of seniors just like they are in their home. And most of the senior assisted living ladies are the ones, by the way. 70% of our clientele is ladies, because the husbands pass away, then surviving spouse is left, and then if they have slip and fall or something, so then the children decide, they say, let's put mom in a nice, great community, right there. And then again, tax benefits, investors, improving the lives of seniors. So that's what I've been teaching in my mastermind, where people do one-on-one coaching with me, or otherwise I give them my whole network of things and take them step by step of the way to be able to do it, how to find, identify goals, research properties, financing plans, due diligence, and then how to find the operator. See, I will never get a license. I never had license there in Florida, but there are operators who have license in every area. Then you hire them and they are able to manage the asset for you. So you're not working in the business, you are working outside the business. It's very, very nice there. Alrighty, let's just go ahead and see any questions there might be. I just kind of put all these things together, and if you want to meet with me later on or anybody, there is a scan there. My team put it for my Calendly link. You are very welcome, to get even more knowledge about it. The key thing is that. So I'll just come back here and kind of answer your questions. Yes.
Absolutely. Anybody want put a questions? You can put it in the chat or raise your hand.
Mhm.
Ask
Thank
about
you so
the.
much, Vinny, for
Hi
chatting.
there. Hi,
Yeah, thank you so
hi,
much.
Barton. How are you, brother?
Good, I'm doing well. I'm actually in the healthcare field and physical therapy. So I do home health and I visit a lot of these clients in these residential assisted living facilities.
Mhm.
And so I did recently get my RCFE certificate as well,
Uh-huh.
be able to open
Uh-huh.
up a small site. But I wanted to ask, what is your insight versus RCFE or like 65 and over or ARFs, which is a adult residential facilities, right?
Okay. Yeah, to be very truthful, I'm buying some locations in Scottsdale as we speak now. I bought two in 2 months over there, 1,350,000 for one, and then 960 for another one. I have two more in the works. The key thing is I want to only operate assisted senior living, because there is lots of lawsuits are going on, and all that stuff. Maybe brother, David might expand on that more. The key thing is sometimes with these home care services, some greed comes in. That's what I've come to realize, by the way, and then some people are in jail and all that stuff. I don't want to do anything that behavioral, side of the business and all that. I want to give clean product, assisted living, good health, good safety, and all that, so that my seniors are, retiring, and they are just, retiring. I mean, they are staying there till they get into dementia or go to hospital or they die, right? So that's what I want to give them the best of the best life. That's what my motto is right now. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Hey, Todd, go ahead.
Hey, Vinny, just wanted to let you know it's good to see you again. And I am
Thank you.
here in Scottsdale is where our primary home is. So
Oh,
if
wow.
I can help you with anything, you just let me know. I put my info in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Scott. Actually, I've been so fortunate. I came there last year, and then I came there this year, and now I have my whole network. Two
Good deal.
trips, just two trips. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's just
Well,
going like crazy, just like this. I've got a wholesaler, I've got a flipper, I've got everything, so that as soon as I get the deal, we start working on it. And then I have the licenses, 6 licenses now with my operator, which I hired full time. So, but thank you so much. I
oh,
appreciate
sure.
your
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
bet you I know your people. I've been doing the real estate thing here for a long time. So
There we go. There we go. You bet. Thank you. Thank
you
you.
bet.
Yes. Sure.
Fantastic. Hey, Vinny, I got a question for you. So, first of all, I just want to say that how important that business is. I had a
Yes.
very close
Yes.
friend of mine passed away of ALS, and he had to go into in a home, an assisted living facility, and it was just that. It was a residential home in a residential community, and
Yes.
yeah, but they took so great care of him, and
Mhm.
it as expensive as it is, and you first just go, that is just so crazy to spend that per bed. But
Yeah.
when it's somebody you love and they're in a home like that, being well taken care of, it's well worth
Mhm.
it. Well worth it. But what I wanted to ask was the how difficult is it to find the operators to actually go in and
Very good.
operate it? Somebody you can trust and that's going to run the facility.
Very good point. Very good point. You got to interview several, and then find out what their network is, how many years they have been at other facilities, and ask for recommendations and their certifications. So it's not rocket science at all. The key thing is you get an operator who's got 15 years plus experience. See, when I did management of my multifamily, I had 158 people total in my payroll, 158 with all the assets, like 4 to 5 people in each of my multifamily. So I hired the regional managers, the asset managers, and the HR people, very learned people, and they did the job. Vinny did not do the job. So it's the team that really that you put together really takes care of you. And there are lots of operators who have licenses, very valid. They're passionate. They are, really want to give their life to the seniors. And those are the compassionate people you want. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
Ron, if I see you get your hand up.
Yeah. So one of the questions I have is, how will RAL work during recessionary times?
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Oh my gosh. Ron, guess what? Even in 2007, 8, 9, 10, the assisted living never dipped under the bottom line because it's a need driven economy, has no effect on it. Economic conditions have no effect on it whatsoever, because these are the seniors who are 80, 85, 90, 95, and they have built their net worth. They have already worked hard. They have their homes. They have long-term care. Some of them do. And they also have family helping them, because we do private pay. In my case, I just like to, I know there is room for affordable, where like in California, I heard they give you $1,800, for the Medicare, right? Medicare gives you 1,800, kind of like that. But then the family has to do it to up to 4,000 or 5,000, whatever the cost could be. California, I've not built one, not a single one. I've been building over there on the East Coast. Now I've come to Arizona, which is beautiful. I'll go to Oregon. It's on my radar, and Utah is on my radar. So those three other states, right? But the key thing is recession has no effect whatsoever.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Chris, got your hand up.
Hi, Vinny. Thank you for
Hi.
presenting. And I currently operate 3 facilities. It's 6 beds. So
Oh,
I'm in the
good.
East Bay doing RCFE and ARF. Barton, you mentioned that maybe we can connect. The RCFE I got into last month. But my question for you, Vinny, is there an ideal size that you found as far as number of beds? Because I'm doing 6 beds, but then you can have 50 beds for one license. Is there a good
Oh,
size?
okay, good point. Very good point. I would say that to give the kind of care you want to give, maybe stay with 6 to about 30. 30 is my number in my mind. So I'm looking for some centers in Arizona up to 30, just to be sure. Or I'm looking for 10, 10, 10, like 3 homes within few miles, so that I can have 10 in one home, 10 other. Because in Arizona, in one single family home, you can have 10 residents. In California, it's 6, I think. In Texas, it's 16, I heard. I'm not there yet. But, the key thing is I'm buying, like I bought 10 bedroom, 9.5 bathroom. So this was already changed, and all the specifications were met and everything. And I just paid a little bit more money. But guess what? I saved 1 year of renovations, cutting down, planning, permits, all that, and the dust. Right? Then I bought another one, 8 bedroom and 3.5 bathroom or something, for with a license already. So now I'm just getting transferring of that license, so that we can operate quickly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Amy.
Amy, please.
Hi, thank you. I'm very interested in this. I was talking to a lady this year about converting my house into assisted living, but the cost that she was going to charge me to do inspections and do all the paperwork was $8,000, and I was kind of skeptical about that. And then somebody else brought to my attention that they looked into her accreditation, that she didn't guarantee that with 8,000 that the house would be qualified. And so I didn't go through with it. So I was wondering, how how do we get our house, our single home license to qualify, and what kind of qualifications do we go through, and how
Very
long
good.
does it take?
Sure, sure. Usually takes 3 months in Arizona. In California, it may be 3 to 4 months. I don't know, but I've not checked it. The key thing is you want to look at all the requirements. And also in Arizona, I found out that there cannot be two residential assisted livings within 1 mile. So you want to make sure the distance is there, because otherwise there will be not that many, seniors. They'll be kind of overcrowding, right?
Mhm.
So you please look at whichever state you are. It's so open with AI, Chat GPT. You say, I want to start residential assisted living in this zip code. Can you give me all the restrictions and regulations, how to go about it?
Okay.
Wow, it
How
will
much
give you everything. Huh?
how much would you say it should cost me with everything to convert it?
Oh, you know what? It all depends. In other words, like if you have 4, 5 bedroom and you want to make it 10 bedroom or 8 bedroom, you want to get 2 or 3 quotes from contractors, because you'll be either expanding in the backyard if there is a bigger backyard, right?
Mhm.
First you got to find if the location is right, if you will be getting the permit or not. And that you find out from the health department. And you go to the licensing board, and there everything is in public knowledge. Who owns what? It's very simple. You don't have to pay 8,000 or 9,000 like you said to a consultant. You could do it yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Vinny. This is
Thank you.
great information. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, that's some great nuggets.
Ah,
Vinny,
thank you.
tell me about while we're waiting for any other questions coming up. But I know I know you don't buy in California. You've been heavy in
No.
Florida, and a lot around the country. And obviously, I know all the reasons why we don't buy in California for
Yes.
multifamily. But tell me some of the differences there for assisted living. Is it the regulations much more difficult?
That's a good point. I have not really looked into, but I have friends who have in California, by the way, and they're doing well. They bought it a little bit cheaper, like they bought it about 10 years back or something, right? In the Bay Area where I live in Danville, California, Blackhawk, which is more expensive area, right? So it's hard to really make your cash flow work well unless you charge $10,000 a month or $12,000 a month to pay the mortgage and make some little bit profit, right? But today, or somebody sent me something in Clayton. And now Clayton, they're trying to sell me a land to build on it. So I told them at this junction in time, no building. I'm so fed up in the last 5 years with building them from ground up, with the cost of construction going high and the loans being troublesome, all that stuff. I'm not ready for that. So I'm really diverting my whole thinking, and my students also, my inner circle. Everybody's looking after businesses, because multifamily is also, as you know, a very red ocean right now. Cash flow is not there, insurance is so high. Thank goodness I sold almost everything. I have maybe 200 million left, but they are cash flowing. Their LTV is way low, kind of 50% LTV or 55%, and in Austin and other places. So I think by doing RAL route, you'll be much better, because you could get a single family home, find out the right location, and then you could build on it. So California, I know my friends, I live here. I've been living here 44 years, but I just don't have that desire to build from scratch somehow, because I got blooded so much.
Yeah, you did it. And I know that I saw that facility you were building in Florida. It was amazing. That was an amazing
Anyway, yeah,
facility.
beautiful. Yeah.
Michael Bates.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was wondering for the clients that you get for your facility, are you getting those, or is that from the person that's operating your facility?
I'm so glad you said that. Michael, what we find is that these are placement agencies, by the way, and in every area there are these nurses and placement people. They keep in touch with doctors and hospitals and all that. They have a network. They take a fee, like a 1 month fee, or sometimes even like 3/4 of the month of the fee to place the senior. Locators is another word for it, right? Locators. It's also in multifamily also, but in senior living, it's quite a bit like that. But please check it out. If you can do SEO, remember Place for Mom. Check out that name. Place for Mom is all over USA. And they spend so much money in their SEO in local areas so that people who need that, they funnel through them. Then they sell their leads to the assisted living sites within the zip code. Guess what? They give it to everybody same time. So that senior is placed within few hours, literally, and they make first month rent right away, 5,000. So it's a very lucrative field. No, I will not be doing it, but my operator, who is 18-year plus experience, who has been managing 4 homes, we have hired, she'll be the one. And she has such a great reputation. She told me that some of her, people who worked for her, caregivers, they want to come to our homes, which is great, Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Definitely make a difference. Anthony.
Yeah. Anthony, yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Quick question.
Doing good. I liked your face. Looks like you're a, magician there.
That's funny. What is your retention rate for your caregivers?
Oh.
And what also is your threshold for payment? Because from what I
love it.
understand, your
Mhm.
guys are just a smidge over minimum wage. And my brain tells me from all the years of my employees and people that work for me, I'd always pay them just a little bit more, kind of like the in-and-out theory, right?
Me
Because you're
too.
doing a basic job, but you want to keep retention because at the end of the day, they are your product to the
Yes.
people in need. So just wanted your perspective on that.
1,000%. Even when I was working in the multifamily, I used to give bonus to all the 158 people twice a year. Wow. Performance based with excitement. June, I'll give them a bonus. And then in November, end of November, as a Christmas bonus or holiday bonus, I used to call it, without saying Christmas. So that's how, and I like to pay higher per hour. And we talked about it with my operator. We already talked about it, that we're going to pay $1.50 to $2 more so that they are happy. And they'll be able to get like $17, $18, I think is the, 15 is what other people pay. I told her, carte blanche, no worries. We're not going to really, pay less. We want to pay more and bonuses and all so that they stay and they are happy.
So my line of thought was correct then.
Very, totally.
Good deal.
I mean, if you look at it, even dollar and cents in the assisted living, like if I have 5,000 is just the minimum. If a Alzheimer patient, senior, not patient, senior is there, that's 7,500 to 10,000 per bedroom. So
Right.
it's mind blowing, and you want to give these caregivers really good pay so that they give their heart out. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got to take care of the good people, no question about it.
Yeah, totally.
Barton, you got your hand up?
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Vinny, for all of your insights.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I've been underwriting a lot of the deals just even here in the Bay Area, and
Mhm.
there's so many things that just don't line up in terms of like the finances and the money or whatnot. So it's like, when you're trying to hire on an operator who is a
Yes.
licensed operator for it, how do you determine that? Because I mean, you're taking on someone with 15 plus years experience. So I'm thinking like, what kind
Yes.
of wage are you paying that person, right? Or whatnot. So how do you determine that? I wasn't
Good
sure.
point. Yeah, sure. In Arizona, I found out from my consultant who I met last year, and she got 2 homes, young lady. She had 2 last year. She's got 4 this year. When I went in April, I said, something she's doing right. My daughter and I went there. We said, you know what? We got to jump on this ship really quick, And so this one now, I was told 5,000 per home is a good pay for very good experience, who will be doing everything, hiring, groceries, making sure the operation is right, everything. So 5,000 per home is what I'm told per month. So that's 60. So for 2 homes, you could pay 100,000 or 110,000, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when it's out of state. We're here in the Bay Area, like
Yeah,
yourself.
might be a little bit more here. Definitely more. Yeah.
Oh, definitely more here. But we don't
yeah.
want to be in charge of the day-to-day operations. So
No.
I am willing to pay more, right? For
Exactly. See, we've been managing our $1.4 billion portfolio on Zoom, 17 years. Just Zoom meetings, scheduled meetings, and every community manager meeting with me and my daughter and other people and all, and just half an hour to 45 minutes a week. That's all. That's how we manage, That's the same thing we are implementing in our RAL business also. Same thing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Another question I had was, would you rather buy a facility and getting it up and running from scratch, or would you buy an existing RCF?
Both are great. Both are great. I mean, I don't want to buy because people want to sell me in Scottsdale 3.2 million. Here I bought for 960 in the beautiful place. It's a beautiful Scottsdale zip code. It's a magic zip code, they call it, and I'm going to put maybe, and it's already converted for assisted living, so running business, usually they tack on a lot of money, goodwill, seniors there, but you could do it yourself. It's not that rocket science at all. So I would say if somebody's retiring and you're able to get a good price, go for it. Go for it. Why not? See, my first home I got 10 bedroom, 9.5 bathroom. The flipper, she became a good friend now, and I'm flipping another one with her. She brought me the second one too, and I bought that one, and she's the thing is, she tried to do assisted living, but her mind, she didn't know how to do it, right? So you got to immerse yourself into learning the business, and then you go in there, because you will not get the license unless you have a person operator who will be able to do a good job, and they have to put their license on the property. Yeah.
Thank you.
There we go. Yeah. Hi, Richard. Yeah.
I'm curious about what you said a moment ago. You said magic zip code. What is a magic zip code?
Magic zip code means most of the RALs are 100% occupied, majority of the time. It's near to the hospitals. See, the thing is, you got to look for the right location, right neighborhood, because as the parents, not parents, children of, of the, seniors or grandchildren are deciding they want to bring their loved ones to a great, good location, and also where they can be well taken care of, and also closer to the hospital if they need to, emergency and things like that, right?
Yeah. Other than emergencies, do your assisted living facilities provide basic health care?
No, zero. No
Zero.
nurses, no doctors. So actually their family makes arrangements to take the parents or grandparents to the doctors, or they use Uber or other facilities, or local transportation is available also. So you set this program how you want to be done. In Florida, we bought the vans, some beautiful vans actually, not buses, and that's why we had full time, that was included in the price, and we will take them for excursions and trips like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vinney.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to come out.
I think we still have a couple more, Vinny. I think Roman, did you still have your hand up, or is it?
Sure.
I have another question.
Just one more question. If you buy not existing property, but the new one that you want to convert, how the zoning goes. So is there any complication is obtaining a change in zoning?
Yes, you have to. See, you want to not buy a single family home, which is only residential. You got to make sure it's got multi-zoning, it's called, or R6, I think is the number. R4, R6 comes to my mind. So please check on that. Check on that. Because you cannot change the zoning. The neighbors won't let you change. It's very difficult, you know. Yes, yes. But I would definitely say that, don't be shy and, make sure that you are able to definitely go for it and, dig deeper into it. I want to, as a thank you, give you my 3 books. I'm putting it right there into the thing. It's in Google Drive. All my 3 books, digital copies and audio copies for you. So please click on it, and that way you could download them and you can really enjoy them. Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you
was
so much.
such a
Vinny.
pleasure. Thank you so much. Huh?
Thank
Sure.
you, Benny.
Thank you, Mike. Thank
You're
you
awesome
so much.
as usual. Never anything less for sure.
Oh,
And Vinny,
thank
just tell the audience just quickly, like what you might be looking for. Are you looking for investors? Are you looking for students for you to mentor? Are you looking, what services do you offer?
Good point. Actually, I just had a one-on-one student today call me. I only take 3 a year because I'm just doing so many other things like that. I do mastermind also, which is all teaching all the things that we talked about, about RALs and syndications and raising money like that. So if anybody wants to join, I teach on Wednesdays, 1.5 hours. I've been doing it for 7 years. And my students are doing very well. I mean, they just come out and they are totally ready to, do. And my one-on-one coaching, of course, people have done very, very well there too. That's pretty much. But investors, guess what? RALs, I'm using my own money, no syndications. So building my wealth with my money and then bring money back, The good thing is, can I give you the last tip? That whatever I'm buying, I'm also getting SBA loans on them. So Small Business Administration 7A loan, write it down. You could get the property loan plus operational money plus also rehab money. What? You get all the money. 7A, SBA 7A loan.
Love it.
Wow.
So it's
Hey,
fantastic.
Vinny, what's the intro for your mastermind? How do we get involved with that?
It's 10,000. I'll be very straight, but then for whole year, you come every Wednesday and we do deals, we talk about it, we analyze, and people are making partnerships and they are buying stuff. They're buying wineries right now. They're buying manufacturing plants. They are looking at RALs right now with lots of people in the Bay Area and also across the, yeah. Huh?
Thank
So
you.
please reach out to me. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Vinny, there's
you.
sorry. Oh, Vinny. There was
Huh?
one last thing. I believe someone in the chat mentioned that they opened up your link, but only one of them has something in it. The
Oh,
folder
really? No. In
empty.
this one just now? Maybe did I give you the wrong one? Let me see
When
here.
I went to it, Vinny, a link 1
Yeah.
worked, but link 2, 3, and 4 were empty.
Oh, they were? No, this
Yeah.
one, Google Drive. Is it?
It is, yeah. It lists all 4, but when you click on them, the 2, 3, and 4 are
3 of the
empty.
folders are empty, unfortunately.
Wait a minute. Okay, guess what? I gave you the wrong one. Sorry. I just went on that one. 1 second. Other drive, Google
We
Drive.
wanted
Maybe
to check. We don't want everyone to go like, oh, no,
so
in the
glad. I'm
folders.
so glad. Oh my
That's
gosh.
my quality control mentality. I can't help myself. I QC everything.
I love it. Let's
Job,
see. Audio books right there. So let's click on that one. I thought I just checked on it. No, this is the wrong one. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Maybe was it the last one? Will change your life. That's the flyer I made or my team made. And then this might be the middle one. Then Google Drive. We'll make sure we get the. Oh, wow.
Worst case, I know this guy named Mike DeRose, pretty nice guy. I'm pretty
Yes,
fond of
I
him.
will.
So I
I'll
think that he has all of our contact information. He can send
Oh,
us the
right
link.
there. Okay, right
I can
there.
do
I had it open from my last, I was another mastermind with Walter. So let me try to put this one and see if this works. Please click on this one. Is it the same?
It's a
No,
little.
this is different. Yeah. Please click on it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that one has it.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
This one.
So
This one
this
has
is
it
the
all.
one.
Thank you so much.
Ah, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
God
much,
bless
Vinny.
you all. God
Such a
bless
pleasure.
you all. Yeah. Bye-bye.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Vinney Chopra, the famous Vinney. He's amazing. He's a ball of energy for sure. All right. So who wants to chime in first and talk about kind of a little bit of what we heard here? Sounds like an amazing business, doesn't it?
What I found interesting, Mike, is he's doing it from a top tier level. He's not on the ground floor. He's been able to figure out a process and get his people underneath him as a foundation to run it, and that's why he's been able to expand so well. That's a lot of us get stuck on the day to day.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
just better to hire someone with many years of experience, and it was really nice for him to kind of share that, how he kind of goes through that process, and going from scratch, kind of like what I'm doing right now, and learning it's a lot of work. It's not easy, right? You're learning a whole brand new skill set. So being able to actually hire on others who are already experienced in it actually makes it a little more simplified.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's taken all the real messy stuff out of it. It's just even like multifamily, right? Like, we all love multifamily. It's the tenants that are problems, not the buildings, right? The buildings are great, the businesses are great, and the tenants are great too. But that's always the challenging part. And yeah, if you bring in the operators for these, that takes a lot of the problem away for sure. Who else?
Mike, you've done a really good job, Mike, not only with the assisted living we just got from Vinney, but what you've shown us with, I think it was John with the self-storage, that his name. So, it's been important, like the discussions we've had, to pivot, because, the multifamily's gotten so saturated and nothing's made sense in so long. It's been tougher. So I appreciate bringing us other perspectives, because at the end of the day, a lot of our skill sets are interchangeable. It is finding the little nuances to adapt them.
Yeah,
For sure.
100%.
Yep.
David?
So I was going to share that for the RALs, Gina Garofalo in Arizona was the one that brought this forward in 2013. He passed away, and Isabel, his daughter, is running it. But one of the elements that they encourage is to remember to do 2 LLCs. Your operations is a different corporation than the asset management. And that is when someone spills hot coffee on themselves, the family's not going after the house. Also, you count the number of steps going up. You don't want to buy something that you have to do a lot of lifting to the front door, and not minimize. In some of these cases, we had our professor, Dr. Casey, died just a few weeks ago. The steps, instead of an escalator, or an elevator, they use one of these metal chair things that goes up. So there's certain safety elements to 3-foot doors, the wider hallways, commercial elements in the kitchen. All of that's necessary because you have multiple residents that need all kinds of attention. So the management is significant for them to be registered, licensed. Then you have the Assisted Living Association. Like in Texas, the names are always consistent. TALA for Texas Assisted Living, FALA for Florida Assisted Living, VALA for Virginia Assisted Living, CALA for California Assisted Living. It's standard, but they are required to meet every year. And you have those that deal with the laws, the implementation, finding management that is licensed with a certain number of years. Their inspection rate, you go into the county and you can get a listing. It's all public knowledge. And then those that have been given warnings, because of food, water, cleanliness, falls. And then one of the key elements is your insurance component. So the uniqueness about this is that you need to find those that are familiar with the actual community, because the outreach into the community is a key element. Getting the neighborhood to visit, those families to have meals with their family members, makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for that, David. That's, the one thing I wanted to ask Vinney about that is the insurance. It seems like that has to be pretty extreme. I mean, I'm sure that's baked into everything, but that Barton, you probably know some of that, but David, do you know anything about the insurance cost of it?
Yes. So you're going to have several components. Of course, you have a different kind of insurance for just the real estate. So just like you'd have in multifamily, you're going to have a concern about the safety of the facility. So the inspection includes the facility, and then you have insurance about the actual frontline workers as well. So, and then you'll have insurance on accidents that occur with those employees engaging with the residents, slips, falls, choking, coughing, medications on time, bathing, lifting, feeding, and dressing, the standard stuff.
Yeah.
And also having what's a key is inspections on each one. Gets a little ring binder of when they're doing their meds, make sure their food and quality of care is itemized. So you're actually keeping records, and that has to be shown for anybody walking in the door at any time. So to answer your insurance question, you're going to have 4 layers of insurance, but not just the property, but the operations, the employees, and then for activity of the resident, meaning, the falls. So it involves someone who is aware of how to bundle that package for you. And it's different for each county, because they have actuarial tables on where lawsuits have occurred. Meaning, are you in an area where you have litigious families, looking for problems? And then distance from the hospital and clinics. Usually on-call transportation is critical. Now here in Virginia, we do the cluster method as well. So usually 6 to 8 rooms in a house. And let's say a physician, which is really popular. One of our guys at RE Mentor, Dr. Patel, Neil Patel in California. He is licensed for seniors. Marvelous. He attended the RAL this past year with Isabel in Arizona there. And I invited him on this, Zoom as well. So I mentioned that because they are able to provide, because as an MD, their overview on elder care. That doesn't mean they are on site. That means that they are a go-to for questions. The administrator is going to be licensed by the state, of course, like I'm phase 1, phase 2 licensed, but the situation is they have to have experience at each of the different levels. So you can save money by having a cluster, meaning 3 RALs within a certain distance, and that you have a cost benefit to it.
Yeah, it makes good sense. Thanks for that, David. Appreciate it. Todd, what you got?
David, question for you. So Vinny had said something about a 1 mile distance between them. I've got a property here in Scottsdale that is close to a hospital, and that seems to make absolutely no sense to me. With that is not nearly enough density when you have such proximity to a hospital. So that makes no sense. Is that accurate?
So I have not heard of the 1 mile. I know that there's competition, and I know that it's a preference to be near hospitals.
Right.
And also communities, because they like seeing the buses and the kids in the schools, where they don't feel like they're institutionalized. So you're correct, Todd. They do like to be near, because meaning hospitals and others at times, not necessarily next door, but they share in activities like the high school quartet comes by for brass, woodwinds, and singing, or arts and crafts. It's physical therapy. You invite these to the house. It increases your activities director services, and it increases your ability to also offer a competitive service for elder care and memory care. So yes, Todd, it depends on the county, and most of the counties, they don't want them next door, but they certainly realize that there's a preference being near a clinic.
Exactly. And, you know, Scottsdale has hundreds of thousands of people and we have 2 hospitals. So the 1 mile distance, that makes absolutely no sense. I'm certain that's not how they do it here.
I'm sure his 1 mile was relevant to some other data.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I know Vinny knows what he's doing. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I think he was saying 1 mile away from another facility. Was what he was saying. So I think he was saying
But that makes no sense, Mike. If we've got one that's close to the hospital and a 1 mile radius from the hospital, that's just stupid. When there's such a need for it, and there are very few hospitals. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean
hospitals. I mean 2 assisted living facilities that are they have to be more than 1 mile away from each other.
Yeah,
that's what he was
I don't know. Okay, I'll check into that. I live here. I'll check into that.
Yeah, and I know there's certainly a lot of seniors in Scottsdale, right, or that whole Phoenix market.
We did have the 1 mile when Gene and I spoke in 2013 when he was forming this RAL group. They didn't want one RAL house to compete with the other RAL house in their group because, you know, they're buying houses, they're getting funding, they're drawing upon seniors and families. So it was more related to the competition amongst each other, not the service in terms of relevance to the bigger picture.
Now,
so
that
1 mile cluster
that makes
buffer.
Perfect sense. Yeah, that makes
Right?
perfect sense.
A 1 mile cluster buffer.
Well, so you don't compete with your own properties. That makes sense. Yeah, you can't. There's just way too many people and way too much demand for it to be one to the way I was understanding it.
Now, I do have a warning, though, as we mentioned, there's a temptation for people who buy the houses to want to manage it themselves, and we caution people don't at all try to do that.
Because as a longtime broker, I had some clients who did that, and they had experience doing that, and they ended up losing a lot of money. As the lawyers say, everything's okay until it's not. Yeah. So they should not have been operating it themselves, even though they had the license and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'd say you're taking on a lot of risk. Barton, certainly you could chime in on this. I know you've been investigating in this in the Bay Area for quite some time, as well as being in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Lily, you had a question, right, for David. I wanted you to ask that first before I chime in.
Yeah, thank you. So, David, thank you for sharing all the information with us. And I actually wanted to ask Vinny this because I live with 2 seniors. My in-laws live with us, and they're 86 and 89. So this is kind of, very dear to me and is close to me. They've been here for 7 years and things are going well. And of course, we're family members. We do what we can for them. But seniors have a lot of needs, right? From hearing aids and cataract surgery coming up and all kinds of different things. Do you actually facilitate some of that for them, or is that all done by family members? And then on the MD side, you said you call on a MD. Is that just a service they provide? Do they sign on anything for on behalf of the patient, or is this just consulting and their name is not on anything?
So there's several elements that we've helped with RE Mentor students who are buying ALFs, helping them. And one of the elements, just like you mentioned, the families definitely need someone to be an advocate for their parent or grandparent and also communicate to them every week. What's the progress report? What's the health report? When is the cataract surgery scheduled? Who is going to do that surgery? How are they going to get there? And you call them and say, you're invited to come along, or because they don't know who to call at times, or they don't have the time to call, or they're not even in the same state. And so the preferred role of a assisted living facility is to provide assistance to the family, to the grandkids, and having teachable moments or memorable moments when you invite them for birthdays and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and holidays and travel. And anything to vitalize the relationship and keep it going, and finding creative ways to do that. And yes, the cataract surgery, the dermatology issues, everything imaginable in the continuity of care, in aging in place. And yes, the relationship to the family is just as important. So we had a problem with one of Dr. Mogisi, who passed 3 weeks ago, because his daughter was a physician, and she was not as compassionate as the people there and the other people, us, at visiting him and appreciating him. And so many times it's necessary to have a physician on call, and certainly a nurse on call, and physical therapist on call. And assisted living facilities provide that, because the needs for each person there vary week by week. You know, nutritional issues, being allergic to something, change of shoes because of mobility, all kinds of important elements, because the insurance issues, having access to specialty care, is always overwhelming. I mean, it's an entire learning curve for a family member, you know?
Right. So just so the assisted living facility, does it coordinate any of the appointments or take them to doctor's offices? Or is that just not part of the service that an assisted living would provide?
We encourage for the RALs, and like Karen Owens from our mentor, you know, helping her buy one just across the river here. We made sure that it had a van that comes with the facility, and a nice van, one that, you know, has the sign on the side and the doctors know. And in their case, every Saturday they invited the doctor to come to the facility. It was like an on-call kind of thing. And they did that just to do the checkup, you know, and in the ring binder and do the boxes and say, yes, we have a quality of life in mind. And and so it was a win-win. You know, the families very much appreciated that. It was an extra service, but they didn't charge, you know, over the top with that. It was because we really care about the residents.
And my second part was, I know an MD who is close to this area, and I'm just curious, the consulting service that you are mentioning, is that just a third-party consulting that you pay? And I know MDs and just any sort of licensed professionals, they'd be concerned about not seeing the patient and writing an order or giving advice over the phone. So is that just on a consulting without any sort of legal ties to them? Or is it actually like their name is on something?
A good point. So a physician today, because of licensing and parameters and specialties, they need to be formally recognized as an attending physician. And there can be different levels of how they attend. Like Dr. Neil Patel in our mentor group in California, he is sent to different assisted living facilities, and they sign him on as a physician of record, okay? And he can always redirect an expertise for, let's say, an ENT for swallowing, you know, or dental or eye care. But he is able to then help that facility have a medical expert then say, oh, yes, this deserves attention for this specialty. But it gives great comfort to the family to know, oh, yes, he's on call and he shows up, you know, and they visit and they say hello to him. And also, he sees them often. I mean, he has privileges at the hospital and, you know, a clinic and all of that. So they know that he is active in the community with his specialty in elder care, you know, geriatrics.
Yeah, some of the easiest ways to really differentiate that is, so what Vinney has is they're on non-medical facilities, but you work with doctors, physicians, licensed medical professionals who can provide that care as a third party or as a mobile service or something of that sort too. So some of the sites, they would actually hire on podiatrists to actually come in and do their nails and things like that, which always happens all the time, especially with the seniors. They also have, maybe they contract with a hair salon person that comes in and does all the residents' hairs, right? Just the other day, I visited a site where they actually do physical therapy and occupational therapy, and they go there 3 times a week during a 1-hour block, and they just do exercises and activities with them. But they all come from out, and they all mobile services come in, but they do check to make sure that they are licensed in what they are doing, and licensed and an active licensed medical professional to actually provide the care that they need. So think about housing being completely different from actually doing and providing the medical care. 2 separate things.
Yeah, fantastic. I know, Barton, you've been looking at that for quite a while. Because we had another speaker talk about it at BAMM, I don't know, 8 months, 10 months ago or so, and you were kind of hot on it for a while. Well, tell me a little bit about your finding, and are you still pursuing California, or are you looking out of state, or?
I mean, well, I did get my certificate here just like recently, so I passed the testing and everything like that too, but it was just more to gain the knowledge and try to figure it out. Will it work or not? And so going through all the underwriting, it was kind of refreshing to hear that Vinney himself is not buying these facilities here in California. So I mean, if someone who's as smart as he is with his experience isn't doing it, then there's might be better to go maybe going out of state in different areas. And learning that here in California you can only go up to 6 bedrooms if it's zoned as a residential. But if it's zoned differently or commercial, then you can go 6 plus beds. So it's nice to hear that in other states you can actually maximize the bedroom counts and actually go for bigger facilities just as long as it has a certain zoning. It's more appealing. And also because I think what he mentioned was the legalities and issues that can arise. And we know here in California, it's a Sioux state here. So I would rather avoid the headaches if possible and maybe venture on to look into different areas.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was interesting because with Vinney, because I know last time when he spoke at BAMM, it was probably well over a year ago, and I'd seen him up on stage, as I said before, several times before, and he showed like videos and pictures of his facilities that he was building. And I mean, these are massive. These are like, I don't even know, $50 million facility or something, and just like absolute A+ facilities built ground up, brand new. And to see him now he's totally shifted to going to the smaller residential. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and it's kind of exciting because any of us could do that, right? That puts it in a ballpark that we could all play in for sure.
I mean, I know a lot of operators here in the Bay Area, here in California, and they've owned their facilities for 20+ years, and they are happily retired, just managing those 2 sites, and they're good. And they've been doing it for 10, 20+ years, and it's their whole retirement fund. They're probably gonna pass on to the kids if they want it. So instead of thinking about managing like 1,000 doors, just think about just only managing 2 doors. It kind of keeps everything kind of simple in that sense, right?
Yeah, and our own BAMM, now I'm drawing a blank, but member here that started doing local facilities as well. Why am I drawing a blank? Help me out, Martin. He spoke a few months ago.
Local facilities?
Yeah, local for assisted living. He has a small assisted living, and his wife is in the business as well. She's a nurse, but we're
The
talking
guy with the McLaren, right?
Yeah, with McLaren.
Oh, Claro. You're talking about Claro.
Yeah,
Claro.
I don't know, draw blank. Yeah,
I'm
Claro.
just here to help.
Thank you. Claro lives local as well too. He's local to Danville. He started out with just one, not that long ago, like literally a year and a half ago. He had one assisted living facility. My daughter, who's a local realtor, Walnut Creek, sold him, was the broker on the transaction, and that was his first one. Now he has 6, like in a very short period of time, and doing extremely well. Yeah. I was hoping he'd make it.
I would say just everybody know from talking to David and other people I know in the space, there's a heavy operational load and you have to do things properly. So don't think this is the easy button. It's just the easier to get your head around it button. I have some friends who have done very, very well with hospice out here. And but that was heavy operational load, and they had years of experience going into it. One was a very experienced operator, very smart, and the other was a physician, very smart, very entrepreneurial, a couple of friends of mine, and they did very extremely well with it. But it was they needed a vacation after operating it for several years and then selling it. So
Yeah. Well, Vinny's business plan though is no doctors, no nurses. Everything is outside. He's just basically has the
yeah,
facility,
hospice
right?
is a different play, right?
And he's not
but
running
you'll
it.
also
He has an operator that's running it, right?
right. And as people transition out, they're going to decline, and so you're going to need to replace them, because if you're not doing any of the memory care, any of the other stuff that's required, as David can tell you, you're going to have to backfill those people. So there's more to it than you guys will know when you dig in.
Yeah, no, I know, like everything.
Right, like everything.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's not like you set it and forget it. It really is. You have to have a heart, the passion for it. And remember, we're trying to care for someone else's parents and elderly parents and aunties and uncles. So really, quality has to be top notch, right? Or you're going to get in big trouble. So it's not for everyone, but it could be. It just depends. But you
Correct.
definitely
It's another option, right? Yeah. And sorry to hear about your friend, Mike. My dad, I'm sure he had very aggressive ALS and took him out in 10 months. So,
Yeah.
and that was declining, solving problems. We were very fortunate that he was able to stay home through the whole thing. We were just lucky that way.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy had to go into a facility, and yeah, he just but it was really it was an amazing thing. I went to saw him there, and just to see that he was being well taken care of, and he made him happy and his family happy, and it was good. Definitely a very needed
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I was happy to see my dad's good karma come through, because we had the perfect caretaker taking care of someone next door to them. And it was like, that was dad's karma coming through. Without her, he couldn't have stayed home.
That's so powerful, because the quality of heart of a caregiver is essential. The communication, the connection, the compassion, the patience, and don't do 12-hour shifts. Don't burn these guys out. It's exhausting. You can do 8s, but not 12s. Okay. In our medical residents and hospitals, they push them to 20. Was where my research was. We had to, bring in policy to stop that. So within an hour, a person can get exhausted with providing the needs that are there for somebody. And so, as you know, in purchasing these, you have different strengths. Some people are numbers guys, they're CPAs, let them work on the numbers. But a numbers person is a different personality that goes in, and the entrustment, the duty of care, the compassion is what's this business is about.
My girlfriend is a special needs teacher. You're going to have someone much more like that as your caretakers. That's what you need to put. Those are the people that'll be the quality caretakers. Because the woman in San Diego, where my parents were when they passed, she still lives in the house there, uses our car. I mean, she's like my sister now. So, and what are the it's dad's karma, right? What are the chances that someone right next door would have had her brother, she's from Mexico, and would have had her brother paralyzed from here down, and she and her mom took care of him for 11 years. And she was right next door. And so when we get a new lift or new equipment, I know you're familiar with all this, David. As dad kept declining, people would come over, and she would just say, no, just get out of the way. This is how you do it. She wasn't rude like that. But I would just sit back and watch and go, okay, Anna knows this way more than anybody that the insurance company or any of the equipment manufacturer, anybody that comes over. She knows more than any of them. Get out of the way. This is how you set it up. This is how you do it. So it was, the only thing I can credit that to is dad's amazing karma. So sorry, I just had to share some assisted living stuff, direct experience I have.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's very, very cool. Thank you so much, Todd.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Todd.
there's a preference for family home style versus institution. So the phrasing used is warehousing. So many times families or neighbors will feel as if if someone is warehousing their parent, if it's too large or too big. So at the beginning of the ramp up, the attraction is, oh, they got a pool and activities and choir and travel, but at a certain point, then things change. And then they're placed at the end of the hallway, and the nurse that doesn't speak English comes in and puts the food on the tray and walks away. Okay, nobody there to help feed. Okay, and so there's a certain point, and the families aren't told this at first. So visitation of the family is critical, and that kind of quality of care needs to be top of mind for someone who really feels responsible, for someone's parent. So,
And I've noticed as people get older, they can handle less. So it's like, we're children, independent, and then we go back more towards children. So Lily, you probably are seeing that in your home. And so it's enough of a trauma for them to be moved out of their own home. So at least they could go into something else that feels like a home. So yeah, I 100% agree, David.
Oh, and Lily, there is actually one extra tip, something to look into. There's actually something called the PACE program, PACE.org. And what they do, if you're a parent or, if the seniors do qualify, is I don't know if you've ever seen those PACE buses go and drive around town. They actually pick them up from their house and they actually bring them to the facility where they actually have medical professionals there. So it's called the PACE program, or PACE.org. Okay.
Yeah,
And
thanks. I'll look into it.
you never know, they could, or they may or may not qualify, but it's extra help as they start to age.
Yeah.
And there's two intermediate steps. Okay. One is called home health care service that starts off usually 1 day a week. I mean, 1 hour or 2 per week, and then 1 hour or 2 per day, and then 3 or 4 hour shifts, then someone overnight. And then right in between there's a transition of where you have a daycare center where someone, like Barton said, picks them up, can take them to the center. They're there from, let's say, 8 to 5, 8 to 6, whatever. They have activities, food, available medicines, nurses available, interacting with others, more than just bingo and TV sitting there. So the cognitive care is necessary for have conversation and not just stare into a TV, because they spiral much faster.
Right. I'm curious, that's one question I couldn't ask Vinny was, what are some of the draws, if you will, because he was in multifamily, which is a big, sector to invest in. Now going into senior living, that's kind of a big change. I mean, some of the reasons as to why he's going into it, baby boomers and so forth, but I'm just curious in terms of if what are his reasons and are the returns better? This is doing it because now he can help, the baby boomers, whatever it might be. I'm just curious if David.
Yeah, so I've walked Vinny's properties. I've been on the videos with him on his properties. We've done the wiring inspections, the plumbing inspections, talked to the contractors, stood in the dirt watching the bulldozers move the front lawn around, going up into the ceilings before they finish putting the pipes in. And so the inspectors can come in and make life difficult. Something that Vinny did very well and his team did very well 2 years ago is you have independent living, and literally across the street, he put the dependent living, right? Because the friends would walk over and say hello, and they would have meals together. And these people over here were there for 5 years. Now they're over here. It was perfect design. Right near Williamsburg, so the kids would visit. They do the historical stuff, and something more than just Thanksgiving. So when you add on doors, you add on complexity of management, hours, retirement, and healthcare, for salaries and everything else. And then you have the squabbling of HR. So exponentially, it's more expensive to take care of and or prevent. You have this institutional framework that can only be managed by even Sunrise, you know. And so we have here some Sunrise places that have closed down. Okay, I put bids on those buildings. Okay, and they're very happy to sell those buildings because the community changes. So you have an ability to adapt when you have 6 to 10 people, whereas when you have 3 stories and 120 rooms, it's not possible to adapt as much. You know, I mean, communities literally move, right? Shopping centers and everything else, traffic patterns, and so you can have more choice in certain houses and locations and communities, you know, of what is around. But from Vinny's point of view, notice he was selling them off. Okay, so now there's someone else's opportunity to manage. He built the infrastructure, you know, but the people in, well, as you know, a building does just fine. It's the people that are the problems, right? Okay, and so that's how business industries change.
And I'd say 2 key things, Lily, is market trends, going where the market's going, and providing something that's like the Cadillac for them.